There are so many ads running right now, it's ridiculous. I think every single restaurant's running some ads right now. There's Mexican food ads, there's American food ads, there's Chinese food ads, Japanese food ads, etc., etc., etc. So how can you, a small business owner, or even a restaurant owner, how do you stand out and win? Now, one good news that I can tell you is that the problem of ad saturation has been solved by a lot of marketers, especially in big consumer goods firms. Because if you think about it, if you think about the detergent space, if you think about the soap space, the shampoo space, the skincare space, etc., they're dealing with that problem every single day in TV, in radio, in print, and many other mediums. So how do they solve the problem of ad saturation? Now, what I can definitely tell you is that there's really two things that help them win. One is by maximizing the share of voice, and the other factor is by maximizing the relevance of your message. Okay, so those are the two key factors. Now, in terms of maximizing share of voice, the classic solution really is to increase your budget. But obviously, you're not the type of company who has unlimited budget to play with in the digital ad space. So how do you maximize share of voice without a high budget? So let me draw a matrix here. Now, there are really two factors for SMEs to win in the digital space. Factor number one is the specificity of your ad targeting. And the other element is the relevance of your message to that target market. Okay. Now, a common mistake that I'm seeing is that a lot of first-time advertisers are targeting very broadly. So they will target 25 to 45, and then they will target Metro Manila, and then they'll target an interest that is as broad as cooking, which equates to an audience size of maybe 10 million or more. Now that's too broad. That's too broad because you won't be able to really dominate or really cover off a good chunk of the share of voice. Okay, so maybe only 1% or 2% of people in that large audience size can actually see your ads. So instead of that, you want to specify or you want to be more specific with your ad targeting as much as possible. So apart from those three factors, you want to add more personal features such as this is a mom aged from, let's say, it's a mom with children aged from 5 years old up to 13 years old. Maybe this is also a person who likes French cuisine, etc., etc., etc. So you want to add more personal features or personal attributes to the targeting as much as possible so that you are reducing the audience size from about 10 million or more to about 100,000 or less. Now, it still depends on what your ad budget is, but as a general rule, you want to compress it as much as possible and you want it at most 200,000 people. So that's one thing, the specificity of your ad targeting. The second factor is the relevance of your message to that target market. Now, the great thing about being extra specific with your ad targeting is that you're now able to be much more personalized with your ad message. So for example, when we were talking about a mom with kids aged from 5 to 13 years old, with an interest in French cuisine. Now, if that is your actual target market, then what you can do is that you can then match the ad message to that particular target market. So instead of a very broad message such as celebration, you can talk specifically about French cuisine. You can talk about specifically the challenges of moms with kids aged from 5 to 13 while working from home at the same time. That's a very busy mom. So you can talk about all those things to make your message much, much more relevant. And as a result, because number one, you are saturating that particular market consistently over time, and since your message is also relevant to that particular market, then your conversion rate goes up and your click-through rate or the number of clicks that your ads get out of the number of people who see it also goes up. Okay. Now for extra points, what you want to do is that you want at least 90% reach for your ads. What is 90% reach? 90% reach means for the ad target that you have defined, you need to reach 90% of them. So that's something that you can set within the Facebook Ads Manager if you're using Facebook. So that's extra points there. And the extra point here is that you want to hit on particular copywriting principles such as social proof, painkillers, benefit-driven ads, etc., etc., etc. So those are just some quick tips on how you can maximize both. Now there's an extra bonus, which I can share with you as well. And I would say that there is a z-axis here as well. And that z-axis is the uniqueness of your offering. Right? So if you want to be at the top 1% in terms of digital ad performance in a crazy saturated ad market, the more unique your offering, meaning there's no other competitor that's out there that's offering the same thing with the specificity of the ad targeting that you have and with how good your ads are, then what's going to happen here is that you're going to hit the trifecta of a really good marketing campaign, and you'll be at the top 1% of performance versus the rest of the market. And that's all there is for this week's Weekly Whiteboard.